She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gazpacho.
Forbes can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Advice, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the topies. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm gonna comment on that. It is time for the U.S. men's national team corner. And boy, is it a great day to do so on the 2-year anniversary of the U.S.-England World Cup game. Man, how could it be different if Christian Pulisic had that left-footed shot not go off the crossbar and just went straight on in? We'll never know, but we balled out that game for a 0-0 draw. And speaking of balling out, Ricardo Pepi for PSV in the Eredivisie. Nick, he scores a hat-trick versus Groningen, his former club. I mean, this guy just scores nonstop. Every time we have any type of... It's hard to criticize that much when he just scores a shit ton of goals. He is now not just PSV's leading scorer, above Luke de Jong, their captain and star, and guy that's starting over Pepi. He is the Golden Boot leader in the Eredivisie with 9 goals, only 4 starts, and the rest is just sub-appearances. I mean, Balogun was also just recently announced as medically fit, getting just match fit, and he should be back. He scored in 3 games in a row before he got injured. Who's first? Is it still Balogun? Or at this point, do you guys say, God damn, Pepi, like, fuck, fine. You can be the first string, man.
Listen, good for Pepi for his hat trick. 9 goals with just 4 starts is impressive. Balo had 3 in a row. Good for both of them. I hope they keep playing, with form for their club. Pepi scored twice over the international break. That's what I care about. He scored 2 goals, 1 in each game. And if you're going to score in each game, then you're going to start for me the next time we come back. And that's just is what it is. Balo looked great in Copa over the summer. I thought he was one of our better players outside of Pulisic. But new manager, new system. Pepi has scored 2 goals. You ride with the hot hand, and I mean everything he's doing with this club is only going to confirm that even more for you. So yeah, he's turning a believer out of me. As long as he keeps putting them in the back of the net, I don't give a shit if he's missing chances because you'll score anyways. So it's all the best strikers in the world miss chances, I guess. And now that he's actually putting some away, put him in the starting lineup for me. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'll eat some crow on it. And yeah, it's his job. Why would it go right back to Balo after scoring in 2 consecutive games? Balo is not like one of the best strikers in the world. He's not at that level. Probably more talented than Pepi. I think we could agree there, probably. But doesn't matter. If you're bagging the goals, then you're my 9.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is Balogun's have to come back. He's going to have to get in some great form. But also, Pepi, I mean, the argument against would be he might not still start because Luke de Jong is the captain and the veteran player. Does he get a move in January? I think you just stay at PSV and just get a shit ton of goals to get a better move rather than get just shipped off somewhere because you want more playtime. I think, I mean, he's got to be begging the manager to say, I deserve to start. How could you not start him after he scores every sub-appearance and gets a hat trick? Got a brace last time he started, which could have also been a hat trick if it was given to him, but it was given as an own goal off a deflection. I mean, he just doesn't stop scoring. So it's going to come down to him. Really, I think it's down to Pepi losing the spot rather than Balogun winning it back, unless, of course, Balogun, gets hat trick and hat trick and hat trick. But in the Eredivisie, you would imagine Ricardo Pepi should have some easier time scoring at least.
Also, to be fair, like if a game that like really mattered happens right now, I think Pepi is your number 9. If we were to play a competitive match, tomorrow, you have to start Pepi, in my opinion. Fine starting Balo for a game though. Like Poch is still new. He hasn't had his hands on Balo yet. Let's see what he can do with them. But yeah, right now, if you're putting the best starting 11 for the USA, Pepi is his name's on the sheet.
Yeah, I will say this is extremely speculative. It is November 25th. The next game is in March, the middle of March. So in terms of
But see,
time
I
before the
still
next
don't care
game,
because the last
a
time
lot
he
of time.
played, he scored 2 goals with that jersey on. That's the shit that matters. I know that Balogun can score in France, and I know he can score in the Dutch league. I understand both of those things, even if they go through a spell. But he scored 2 goals against Jamaica, one at Jamaica, by the way, that won him the game, and then one in a pretty much a rout, even though the score looked closer than it was. So he deserves to be the starting number 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been like everybody wants just Balogun to start. He's been chosen to start every time. It's kind of like, all right, shit, man, sure, you can start, man. Like, just keep scoring the goals, whatever. We'll allow it now. Speaking of some starters for the U.S., I thought we were gonna have a banger of a matchup. Pulisic, Musa, McKennie, Weah, Milan versus Juventus in Serie A. And Nick, this game was a stinker. An absolute stinker, 0-0.
Good.
Pulisic had, I guess, enough fatigue from the U.S. and flying across the world and playing so much that they decide to keep him on the bench and bring him on later. Milan have 0 comprehensive attack. Like, nothing works in their attack without Pulisic. It is tough to watch. Juventus, McKennie started it. Weah took a slight knock the day before the game. Was going to start at striker. Comes on as a winger in this one. I mean, there was just not that much to say here, but Milan need Pulisic. Very much so. A lot of people are knocking on Milan's door, though, for Pulisic. A lot of Premier League teams have reached out. I mean, is that something that Pulisic should at all entertain? I've heard West Ham, Liverpool, Manchester United all have been asking about the price. It's around 60 million, they say right now. But is that at all a chance that Pulisic should take that? I feel like, in my opinion, just stay in Italy and keep balling out.
I think you're right. I'm sure he feels like he has something left to prove in the Prem. The Chelsea run wasn't, the best, and obviously ended poorly. But if I'm him or if I'm one of the guys in his circle, I'm telling him stay here. Milan is a huge club. Selfishly, I'm a Milan fan when it comes to the Italian league, so I would want him to stay there. And he's performing really well. Also, the physicality of the Prem, maybe it's just not for a player like Pulisic. I think, the Serie A is a slower league and he's just ripping through it like a chainsaw. So I think keep doing what's gotten you here. You're in the form of your life. You're, like, based on form, probably one of the better players in the world right now. So even when you play for the United States as well. So keep it going. I don't see a reason to change anything. I know he has, team ambitions as well. But I guess selfishly, I would want him to stay at Milan.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's enjoyed Milan. He's had plenty of quotes coming out about how much he loves the San Siro, where he lives. He lives on a lake there. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily thinking, man, I want to get back to England and all that weather when you're in Milan, Italy. But certainly, right now he's 15th, they say, on the Ballon d'Or rankings. So he's having quite the season. Don't think it's time for him to leave, but it may be time for his manager to leave, Paulo Fonseca, which would then be the third manager he's had at AC Milan, which this man cannot have stability with managers. Like, holy shit, he is constantly getting new ones. But I guess that is kind of the case of the big clubs. They move on pretty quick. But, of course, we need to close the U.S. men's national team corner, U.S. news, with what is the greatest news that maybe this world has ever been graced with. It's out of Borussia Dortmund, and no, I'm not talking about the starlet, Cole Campbell, who would look saucy over the international break and was amazing for Borussia's youth team. It is Mr. Gio Reyna. Gio Reyna is back for Borussia Dortmund after weird-ass tweets updating his medical status as a mystery and confusing the team. He is now back for Borussia Dortmund. Got on for about 15 minutes at the end of their game here. His only second appearance of the season so far. He's been really knocked out by injury. Nick, we've talked about how good this U.S. team looks. If Gio Reyna can stay healthy, continue to contribute for Borussia Dortmund, I mean, how much does he add to an already systematically great-looking attacking U.S. squad?
Special talent. That's for sure. He is a very special talent. I think there are a lot of question marks onto how we're gonna fit those front four players. And I don't think Gio has a clear defined role. I think someone like you might say, put him at a 10, Pulisic back out left, way out right. That's what we're accustomed to see. But, Botch has experience with different people at that 10. Which makes me feel good because it's going to give Gio a shot there. And I think he's talented enough to take it. It really is all about availability for him. So good to see him come back. And hopefully he gets, like you said, we're not going to see this U.S. team for a good 3-4 months. He needs a run of games. He was out of favor beforehand. He needs just to be healthy. Even if it's a sub, if you're getting 20, 30 minutes a game, maybe a move in January would be good too. I'm not too hopeful about that. We saw what happened last year, but still, it's good to see him healthy again. He has all the talent to be, one of our 3 best players, I think you can say. So we need him firing. We need him at his best, but more than anything, we need him healthy. And hopefully the talent will shine through once he comes to the international setup.
He looks like he's
I
eating
think
well.
honestly that's. What was that?
He looks like he's eating well.
I will not acknowledge that rude comment by our producer on our.
I don't think he looks. I mean, he looks a little stupid in this photo, but he doesn't look chubby.
I just remember him being.
Start watching your own calories, Palmer. Fuck you. What the hell?
I am watching my calories.
We don't do that. We don't do that on this pod.
Yeah, we don't body shame.
All I care about is that this man stays healthy. If he's healthy, I mean, the talent level, we've seen it with the U.S. It does not matter how long he's been healthy and what his form is at club, how many minutes he's getting. He's arguably immediately the second best player every time he's played for the U.S., regardless of his form, regardless of how many minutes he's getting. As long as he's healthy, that is the one thing. I would love to see Reyna maybe move to Serie A. I mean, Milan need a 10. We get 3 Americans at AC Milan. Oh boy, that is some marketing right there. It's an American owner, so all I'm saying is I don't think he'd look bad, and I do believe Tony Meola, former U.S. goalkeeper, also said he would think Gio Reyna fits in at that 10 role at Milan. So just throwing it out there, put it into the universe. But
he's sick.
That would be really fun to watch. Let's move in.
We'd have to each get a U.S. Milan jersey.
Yeah,
dibs on Musa.
Absolutely. Dibs on the Gio. I already have the Pulisic, so